Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out! The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It's a new week in Oregon Athletics here on a Monday. I am Ryan Milano, your host for Duck Insider. It is the 1st of April. The month of March is behind us, and, well, now we're pretty much all the way into spring sports season. It is spring for the most part in terms of, well, all of the winter seasons have concluded, and we're on to next month of the calendar. It's also April Fool's, and well, I got to be honest with you, I didn't have anything planned. I didn't want to be that guy to go to the people and try to trick the people. I feel like this is a show where you rely on your Oregon news and you rely on us being the journalists with integrity who tell you the truth, and I didn't feel right about trying to trick you guys, the viewers and the listeners here today. So I decided to steer clear and well, we still get to celebrate some tricks, and I hope that everyone, for those who celebrated, had a happy Easter holiday on Sunday. And, well, it was a bit of an abbreviated schedule because of none of the games being played on Sunday. Everything got moved up a day. So 4 games set for Oregon baseball. It started on Wednesday. A little bit of a weird schedule there. Oregon softball only played 2 due to some rain down in Los Angeles. They had the Thursday-Friday series. Overall, a weird schedule across the board. So many other teams in action. Men's golf, women's golf, beach volleyball, Oregon track and field. Some record setters over the weekend. So there's so much to talk about today on Duck Insider, but it is April Fool's, and I didn't want to leave this holiday completely in the dark. And, well, to celebrate some of the best tricks that we've had on the football field, Oregon football earlier today commemorated some of the best trick plays that have occurred in recent Oregon history, and, well, Oregon history in totality, and I thought it was a good way to kick off April Fool's and April 1st. So here are some of the best calls on trick plays from Jerry and Jorgie. Let's hear them.
Leaf, fake. Pitch to Martinez. Touchdown, Oregon. Don't get fooled again.
Statue of Liberty, Stewart. And now it's Dixon. He had me. Didn't give it to him.
He faked it. He comes back to Harrington, who has it. The sideways snap. What a play catch. They complete the 2-point conversion.
Fake punt. A fake punt right away. Rolling up the middle of the field on the fake punt. Rodney Hardrick.
The snap, no, it's a fake. Oregon runs it first down up the middle, 40 near midfield. Michael Clay looked like a running back out there. Pitch to the right, and it's thrown back to Bo, who's got it, and will score the touchdown easily in the left-hand corner. It's a fake, and it's a great one. Rumbling, stumbling, Casey Rogers. How about that? Go flea flicker, go the screen run to Tez. He's got blockers inside 10, 5. Why not get a touchdown? Fake punts, flea flickers, Statue of Liberties, whole bunch of trickery from Oregon football over the years. Isn't that some of the best parts of Oregon football? I mean, if you were to think of plays from this past football season for the Ducks, so what are the first plays that you think of? I think of the Tez Johnson and Troy Franklin big catch and runs up against USC earlier in the season. I think of a few from the Utah game. There's a few big plays kind of sprinkled across the board from the Oregon State game as well, but I think that Casey Rogers' fake punt
Hunt might be first on the list in terms of just plays that I think of when I think of this Oregon football season. And so it's a good way to kick off the month of April. It's also NFL Draft Month, which is occurring later in the month. If we have time, we might hear from some future pro Ducks coming up as well later in the show. But I want to break down what happened for Oregon baseball this weekend because Joey and I were up in the booth at PK Park celebrating what was a conclusion of an 11-game homestand for Oregon going up against Seattle. It was a weird Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday series for Oregon on the diamond. Broke down with Joey Mack the Wednesday and Thursday games that all happened, but I kind of want to give a little bit of a reiteration of what happened over the series. So it kicked off on Thursday, and Oregon ended up winning that game in extra innings against the Redhawks of Seattle. It was tied at 1 going into extras, and then Seattle put up a 3 spot in the top of the 10th. And, well, with a game that was kind of devoid of offense for a majority of it, then you thought you're starting to get just a little bit nervous, but with Oregon baseball, they're never out of a game. They never believe that they're out of a game. And, well, if they don't believe it, then I won't believe it either, and the Ducks proved it because Oregon in that game on Wednesday was able to rattle across 4 runs in the 10th, including a Drew Smith walk-off winner to open up the series against Seattle, and that really set the tone, and the offensive momentum would stack off of that 10th inning for the rest of the series. On Thursday, the Ducks started fast against the Redhawks of Seattle, put up 4 runs in the first 2 innings. Then they closed strong, putting up 6 runs in the final 3 offensive innings of that series against the Redhawks on Thursday's game against Seattle. And the Ducks ended up winning that game 10-2. Some notable stats from that one. R.J. Gordon got the ball on the bump. He pitched 5 innings, allowed just 5 hits, a run, 5 strikeouts for R.J. Gordon. He had a really solid outing. I thought the starting pitching across the board in this series was really the key. Michael Friend had his first career start on Wednesday. He had a really, really strong Wednesday start where he went through 5 innings incredibly efficiently, barely over the 50-pitch mark throughout that outing. R.J. Gordon followed him up on Thursday with a 5-inning outing of his own where he only gave up 1 earned run. And then offensively, Jeffrey Hurd went 4 for 4 with 4 RBI on Thursday. Mason Neville, he kicked off his strong series on Wednesday, but he really solidified it with a home run and 4 runs batted in. Antoneros went 3 for 4 in that ball game. Maddox Maloney got his first start. Not his first start, but he got his consistent starts this weekend. He started at shortstop. It was the first time he was in the starting lineup without Ryan Cooney also being in the starting lineup for Oregon. And Maddox Maloney had one heck of a series. Joey broke it down a little bit on Friday, but Maddox Maloney certainly didn't cool down. He, in fact, continued to rise since then. He went 3 for 5 on Thursday. And then on Friday, it was Cars Day at PK Park on Friday. And so the Ducks up 2-0 in the series at that point. Oregon comes into Cars Day, and, well, they threw the caution flag to the wind. And, well, Joey and I, we had a lot of fun. If you listen to the broadcast on Friday, it was a whole bunch of fun with me and Joey. There were a ton of car puns. But for the Ducks, they sputtered a little bit out of the gate, got off to a slow start, especially offensively. And it was a 1-1 ball game early in the game for a large majority of it. And then in the 5th inning is when Oregon really got their offense going. In that 5th, the Ducks got to Seattle, started with a 4-run frame, and then handed the ball to Ryan Featherston coming into the 7th inning with a 3-run lead at that point. Featherston came in, got out of a sticky spot in the 7th, and ended up closing out that game with a 7-out save. He got some help offensively from Oregon, who pulled away in the 8th with a 4-run inning in that 8th. It was, again, another really solid pitching performance from the starter, Grayson Grinsell. Grinsell has continued to stack starts. He wasn't in the starting rotation to kick off conference play against Arizona State. He got entered into it in the Cal series, has been in the starting rotation since this homestand has kicked off, and he's had 3 really strong home starts in a row. He threw 6 innings on Friday, 3 hits, a run allowed, 9 strikeouts for Grayson Grinsell. I mentioned Ryan Featherston. He had that 7-out save. He only faced 7 batters. So did allow a hit, but faced the minimum in his outing out of the bullpen. And Maddox Maloney continuing to surge. He went 3 for 3 on Friday, hit his first career home run. Really strong game for Maddox Maloney. Bennett Thompson went 2 for 4, 3 RBI, and a triple. Bennett Thompson has 3 triples this year, and he's also towards the top of the team in terms of stolen bags. It's not the way that you sort of expected Bennett Thompson to profile with some elite speed, but he's doing elite speed things where he's stealing a ton of bags, he's working for extra bases as he hits balls into the gaps. Bennett Thompson's doing a ton of the gritty things right for Oregon baseball, and he had a 2 for 4 day, 3 RBI, and that triple that I just mentioned. Drew Smith, he also had a really strong series, and he continued off his walk-off momentum from Wednesday into Friday, where he went 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. Then on Saturday, it was the series finale for Oregon, where the Ducks ended up winning that game against Seattle 14-7 in the game that, played like a football score, but wasn't really a football differential throughout. It was a pretty tight game in this ball game. It featured some decent starting pitching and opportune offense throughout the entire game. Seattle actually was up 4-2 entering into the bottom of the 5th inning, but then the Ducks, they went on a 2-run tear in that bottom of the 5th to tie it up at 4. Oregon added 3 more in the 6th and 1 in the 7th to take a 4-run lead before Seattle then eventually struck back with 3 of their own in the 8th inning. Then the Ducks would really put it away. So in that 8th inning, it was Bradley Mullen who came in, and he would end up recording the save. And the Ducks made it really easy for him in the 9th because Oregon scored 6 runs of their own in the 8th to get in front by those 7 runs. That was the eventual final differential of 14-7. Some key stats in this one: it was Kevin Sider with 6 2/3 on the bump. A lot of traffic on the base paths, 9 hits for Kevin Sider, 4 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts for Sider. So really strong starting outing over the entire weekend for Oregon, as Sider ran into some trouble, especially in the 2nd inning early, but then was able to get back and really settle in. And he got better as the outing continued to move along and struck out more batters as the outing continued to move along, and really saved an Oregon bullpen who had that weird schedule in this 4-game set this weekend, and now it has a midweek against Portland coming up tomorrow before they then go on the road to play UCLA. So a strong job by Kevin Sider to save some of the bullpen bullets for Oregon on Sunday. And Bradley Mullen, when he had to come in, he did a strong job of it. There were a few relievers in between that got some sparse outs, but it was Mullen who closed things out. Offensively, Chase Meggers had a strong day. 2 for 5, 3 runs batted in. He hit his first career home run on Saturday for the Ducks. And then Jacob Walsh, he had a 2 for 5 day with an RBI. Bennett Thompson continued to do good things. He went 2 for 3. He reached base 4 times, scored 3 of those times. Then Drew Smith, like I mentioned, continuing a hot series. He went 3 for 4 on Saturday with 2 doubles and 2 runs batted in. Mason Neville, he went 1 for 3 with an absolutely the ball that he hit for out of the ballpark was probably the hardest hit ball and farthest hit ball I've seen all year for Oregon baseball. And we've had a few scorchers this year. That one was 483, the projected distance, and 111, the exit velocity off of the bat. When I say that ball was crushed, that ball was crushed to right field. It landed on the other side of the player development area. You know how the PDA out there in right field for Oregon baseball has a little bit of that angled roof? It landed on the other side of the angled roof. I'm not sure I've seen a ball hit that far in batting practice, let alone a real game. That ball was absolutely mashed by Mason Neville, and then Maddox Maloney continued to have a really, really strong series at the plate. He went 3 for 4 in that Saturday game with 3 RBI and a double. 3 guys had some really stellar offensive series stats for Oregon: Maddox Maloney, Drew Smith, Mason Neville. I want to single those 3 out specifically because they were awesome. And that's not to say that there weren't other guys that were awesome. Bennett Thompson was great. We had a whole lot of different contributors for Oregon baseball in this series. But the trio of Maloney, Smith, and Neville. Maddox Maloney had 3 hit games in all 3 of the games that he started this weekend. Not 1, not 2, but 3 consecutive 3-hit games for Maddox Maloney. In the series, he went 9 for 12. He scored 5 runs, drove in 4 4 RBI in this series. He hit his first career double, hit his first career home run. He walked twice, and he also stole his first career bag in this series as he started 3 games at shortstop. The third, fourth, and fifth games that he started this year, and he's really made an impression. He came into the season a touch banged up, was battling for a starting job to enter the year with Ryan Cooney at that shortstop position. They had both been in the lineup, but Cooney had been a lot more consistent at that starting shortstop because Maloney entered the year a little bit banged up. Max Maloney got his opportunity, and, well, against Seattle this weekend, he really made the most of that opportunity, did a really strong job. Drew Smith behind him also had a pretty strong series for Oregon where he had that walk-off in Game 1. In totality in this series, Drew Smith, who had struggled a touch to start off Pac-12 play, went 8 for 14, 6 runs batted in, 3 doubles, and 3 walks in the series. 8 for 14, 6 RBI, 3 doubles, 3 walks, and a walk-off for Drew Smith. He also had 2 doubles in 1 game in the series. That came on Saturday. And Mason Neville, only 3 hits in the series. He went 3 for 12. Batting average 250, doesn't jump off the page. What does jump off the page is, A, the absolutely scorched ball that he had on Saturday. It was one of 2 home runs he had in the series. But he had 9 runs batted in. Over the weekend in 4 games, Mason Neville had 9 RBI. The trio of Maddox Maloney, Drew Smith, Mason Neville had a really strong non-conference series against Seattle in the midst of Pac-12 play. Coach Wazikowski broke a lot of things down with the media after the game of, well, the 4th game between the Ducks and the Redhawks of Seattle. Some thoughts over the series sweep from Coach Wazikowski. That's what we're going to get to on the other side after a quick timeout on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
We're back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It's the 1st of April, and there were no fools on the baseball diamond over the weekend, at least not in Duck uniforms, as Oregon ended up sweeping the Redhawks of Seattle on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday series of the 4-game non-conference set on Oregon's bye week in Pac-12 play. After the 14-7 football score win on Sunday, it was I think, decently content, Coach Wasikowski, after the series sweep over Seattle. And Coach Wasikowski brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Here's the reactions from Waz after the series sweep.
Complete the sweep. How do you feel like you guys did today?
Good. We won 4 straight games. That was the goal. Good start by Kevin Sider. Brad finishing the game off really good. A lot of really solid offensive performances, so it was nice to see the sustained attack offensively.
What did it mean to see Sider? You got into some trouble there in the second, but come around and end up throwing 6.2. Just what did that mean for you guys?
It's huge. You're on game 4 of a series, and so you need your starter to get out there, and a lot of starters in that situation might have crumbled or folded or whatever, and he wanted to stay in the game when we took him out, and we still felt like that was probably the right thing to do at the time. Cole Stokes came in, put out the fire. Happy about what we saw.
Is there any, you guys really focus on pitch count? Is there any, a number that's too high that you don't want to see? I think he was at 104, 105.
Well, you got to be able, we're shooting to be able to have guys get to 130 pitches, 120, 130 pitches. You have to be able to do that to be able to throw a complete game, unless you're probably a sinker baller and have a really efficient pitch count to where you can finish it in 110 or 115. But in order to finish a game, you got to throw 120 pitches more than likely, 125 pitches, which is something that we haven't had yet. It's an endurance thing. It's a conditioning thing. You got to be able to do it. But to answer your question about pitch counts, it all comes down to effectiveness and how stressful innings are and what the accumulation of the day looks like. And so it's not necessarily a number. Sometimes a 80 or an 85 pitch count night could feel like it's probably a 120 pitch count night. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I've seen complete games. Had a kid at Arizona one year named Kurt Heyer and we even hear Robbie Ahlstrom. There'd be times where he'd go out there and throw a complete game and he'd throw 120 pitches and it felt like 80 just because they were in cruise control. So there's a lot of variables that go in. It's a number isn't really define it. But when you start getting excessive is when you start getting north of 135.
You mentioned stressful innings. There's some biomechanical stuff that goes into that, right? Could you explain kind of what makes an inning stressful?
Well, just traffic on the bases, more or less, and so whenever you get a lot of traffic on the bases and stuff like that, innings can be more stressful. I think the scoreboard can indicate a stress level as well. If the game's super tight and there's traffic out there, that's a little bit more stressful. If there's traffic on the bases and there's still pretty good cushion for a lead, then probably a little less stress.
Offense gets it going today. 3 hits from Maloney, 3 hits from a bunch of guys, Drew Smith included. You feel like this is, I'm going to ask you about the lineup again, you feel like it's kind of clicking with this way, and Drew hitting 7 and stuff like that?
Drew had a really good weekend, right? Or a really good week, which was great to see. Mason DeVille had a tremendous, I thought his at-bat when he hit the ball out of the park was a tremendous at-bat. He had a sac fly or 2 and a base hit or whatever. he had a very good game for us. With 4 RBI performance. Chase Meggers hit his first home run today. That was a tremendous performance. And I think, a guy like Bennett Thompson, I think Bennett Thompson had another really good day where he pretty much squared everything up that he saw or he walked and had productive at-bats. I thought today with the offense, they just continued to have good at-bats, and it wasn't a hero mentality, which was nice to see.
That DeVille home run, was that one of the furthest balls you've seen hit here? Because I don't know if I've seen something hit the back of the PDA here.
Did it really? When he hit it, it was obvious it was gone. It's a talented player right there.
Random question, but Jeffrey Hurd, was he thrown out last night of the game?
Yeah, he got thrown out, so he's suspended for an additional game by NCAA rule.
I don't remember that happening. Was that in the 8th inning, 9th inning?
No, it was about in the 6th inning of yesterday's game, after he got called out on strikes.
You've had 2 freshmen start at shortstop this year. What does a freshman have to do to get that job and be ready to start at shortstop?
Well, they have to earn it. And then on top of it, what do they have to do? Probably they have to have a coach behind the scenes that's a really good coach. And, when you're talking about Maddox, he's coming from here locally, and the coaching staff at Thurston High School does a tremendous job. When you're talking about Ryan Cooney, you're talking about Jesuit High School in Portland. The coaching staff at Jesuit High School do a tremendous job, and so they're prepared. And, we can help prepare them, but when they're getting coached as well as those two programs in our state are coaching their players, then when they get here, they've got an advantage over the guy that's not getting coached at that level. So I think it has a lot to do with the tremendous high school coaching they've both received.
Is there like a surprise when you see someone that young, just be able to handle that kind of stuff, or is it just becoming more normal now to see, 18, 19-year-olds be able to handle that?
No, it's not normal. I think it's abnormal to have two freshmen at the end of a game playing middle infield at the University of Oregon, working for a 4-game sweep. And we had Cooney and Maloney out there at the end of the game playing middle infield. I think it's abnormal, and I think they're just that good, and they're that prepared from their high school coaches.
With Meggers, obviously, it's his first career home run. You talked about it weeks ago. He led the team in RBIs in the fall, in the early spring. Is this kind of what you expected to see out of him whenever he gets up there at the dish?
Chase is one of our toughest players for sure. He might be the toughest player that we have. We've got several of them that are really tough players, and he's one of them. He's got a knack for hitting, and that's what we saw in all the scrimmages, and I'm sure the media that was out here religiously, like yourself, saw that as well.
Another just kind of a random question is how's Toby Twist doing? Hasn't pitched since ASU. Is he dealing with any type of injury?
I won't go into Toby's situation. He was a little bit sick this weekend. He was ill, and he wasn't even at the ballpark for a couple of days. We were happy that he was at the ballpark today. He's kind of recovered good enough for him to be back with us and stuff. So really good to see Toby back with us.
That's Coach Wazakowski breaking down the series sweep, breaking down primarily that Saturday win, the 14-7 victory for Oregon in the final game of the series against Seattle. Big performers in that game. It was Kevin Sider who got the start, Chase Meggers who hit his first career home run, and Mason Neville who hit a ball that I think could be registered by NASA as being in orbit right now. If you look up into the sky tonight and you see a blinking star, I think that was actually the ball that Mason Neville hit on Saturday. We're going to hear from all three of them when we come back. It's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon baseball, we're still talking about their series sweep over Seattle over the weekend. They got really great starting pitching, I thought, in totality across the entire weekend. It was kick-started by Michael Friend, his first career start in an Oregon uniform. He went 5 tremendous innings on Wednesday, followed up by the weekend starters, all shifted forward a day. So it was R.J. Gordon on Thursday, Grayson Grinsell on Friday, and Kevin Sider on Saturday, with there not being a game on Sunday. So each starter shifted up a day, but it was still a really strong start for Kevin Sider on the bump. He navigated around a lot of traffic, gave up 4 runs, and Waz mentioned earlier in the series that the pitch count might go down a little bit because of the lack of day, the one less day of rest. But for Kevin Sider, he showcased that he could really stretch out his arm, where he was just at about 100 pitches throughout his outing on Saturday, and he continued to get better as the outing went along. He struck out most of his batters past the 4th. So we're hearing from the starting pitcher for Oregon, who ended up getting the win against Seattle. Kevin Sider, the 5th-year senior, he really settled things down on Saturday. Here's Kevin Sider.
You know, things kind of got a little spooky there in the second inning. You came back and go 6.2 deep. You know, longest outing of your Oregon career thus far. How'd it feel?
Great.
You feel like we might have spooked you last night when you were out there on the mound and we were waving at you?
No, I appreciate that.
We were worried we jinxed you.
No. That was cool. I appreciated that.
Can you kind of walk us through that? I've seen you do that a couple times now. Are you just visualizing up there?
That's exactly right. Visualization is a huge part of our program, and I think that any good pitcher should go and do that. Hawk spent some time obviously playing for the Dodgers and with a couple major league organizations, and he mentioned that Clayton Kershaw would do that all the time. So I've just tried to add it to my repertoire every week, and it's super beneficial, I think.
So is that something that started this year for you?
No, I've done that wherever I've really gone. I think it's a great opportunity just to be able to just literally just see the backstop and just get used to your environment. I think that's one of the biggest keys going into any start or any performance in general.
Is there something that you think about when you get up there and kind of go through that visualization, like you run through your pitch mix, or is it, you know, you're thinking about the scout that you've already seen from this week, or?
No. Sometimes you visualize the color of the other team's jersey. Like, I really try to simplify it as much as I can, or it's just a matter of touching the dirt and getting on there and feeling the slope.
What do you feel like was working for you today? I think you finished with 8 strikeouts. Pretty good. What was working for you?
I had a lot of my stuff. Fastball, curveball, slider. It was a good mix, but just battling out there was the main thing. Trying to come back from, obviously I started a lot of the batters like down 1-0 or down 2-0. Just being able to use my fastball in key situations was big time.
The second inning, like, what happened?
I left a few balls up. They're a great hitting team. Like, you saw how many hits and runs they produced over the entire weekend. So hats off to them. But yeah, just didn't execute a couple pitches where I needed to, and they put good swings on it. Can't blame them.
Go ahead.
I think it went for a strike, but towards the beginning of the game, you threw like something 86 into a lefty. Is that a cutter, or what was that?
Yeah, cutter slider.
Okay.
You finished with like 105 pitches today. We talked to Waz earlier. He said, we need to get our pitchers up to be able to throw 120, 130 pitches for a complete game. How do you feel like where do you feel like you are in that kind of process of getting up there?
I'm trying to embrace that message and live that out every start. You know, as a starter, at least I take it personally anytime I get taken out, regardless of if we're winning or losing, and maybe that's a little selfish, but for me, it's my game. It's my ball, it's my game, and I think that Waz is trying to express that to us, and I'll just keep retaining that and embracing that, and we'll continue forward with that mentality the rest of the season.
You had a complete game at Quinnipiac. Do you remember how many pitches you threw?
Ooh, it was like 125, 120, so.
So you feel like you can get there in terms of just like your arm strength and your durability?
Yeah, a lot of it just comes down to conditioning, and Darryl Hunter's been absolutely crushing that aspect of our game. So I trust him with like everything. But yeah, it's also for me, it's a little bit of a pride thing, I'll be honest. I like going deep in games. Like, that's my job, and I think the most important pitches come in the 6th and 7th and 8th innings. So I'm definitely going to try to work towards that more and more often.
4-game sweep. How do you feel like you guys are feeling heading into another conference play with UCLA and then obviously Portland on Tuesday?
I feel great. Portland's a great team. We got some business to handle for sure. We have a really special group, and it's so much fun every single time I get to strap it up and get in the field with them, although it's only once a week at this point. We definitely want to keep the ball rolling this week and keep that momentum going, but Portland is our biggest test next, so looking forward to that.
That's Kevin Sider after his start going up against Seattle, anchored the 4-game sweep for Oregon, got that Saturday start and got the W for the Ducks. Also in that game on Saturday, first career home run of Chase Meggers. Strong moment. He hit a solo shot to right center field late in the ball game that kick-started a big 8th inning for the Ducks. Let's hear from, Oregon. He's a utility man now because he has been a catcher traditionally for his whole career, but with, you heard Coach Wazakowski mention Jeffrey Hurd not available for Saturday's game, so with some shifting in the outfield, Chase Meggers got the start in right field on Saturday. Let's hear from the catcher, the outfielder, the designated hitter, whoever he is, wherever he's playing. It's Chase Meggers. Let's hear from him.
First one, how'd it feel?
Felt great. Bombs always feel good, especially left on left. Felt really good to do it, especially when the game's close and, I'm just trying to get on for the team plus at bat. And when the game's close like that and you go up by 1, it felt really good.
You got the ball?
Yeah, I do. I have it in my back pocket.
Did it come in the Nike pouch like Maddox Maloney's?
No, they just tossed it to me. Yeah.
Who's it going to go to?
I might give it to my dad. He's the reason why I'm here, him and my mom, and so when I see him next, I'll probably give it to him. He probably would love that.
Obviously, the home run feels pretty nice, but the double you had earlier in the game, a nice line drive to right center field, just what were you looking for there, and how did it feel coming off the bat?
Yeah, no, it felt good. I wasn't really, we had a plan, and I was just ready for the heater, and I was on time, been working on some stuff in the cages, and I felt really good in the box, felt comfortable, was super free, and I just took a good swing.
Les told us during the fall and during the spring that you led the team in RBIs and were one of the best hitters. Earlier in the season, you kind of had some struggles there. How does it feel like the last 2 games or last couple of games for you, like with the pinch hit double? How does it feel like to get back on that train of being successful at the dish?
Oh yeah, it feels good. You ups and downs as a hitter can go. You can be really hot. Sometimes you can be really cold. For me, it was just working my butt off in the cage, and me and Martyr worked on some stuff, and I was talking to him today, and I just was freeing myself up. Felt like I was going up and down instead of too far forward and losing my posture and stuff. So I think that I felt really good today, and I just need to keep building on it and keep working.
How do you kind of battle those ups and downs? I asked this to Bennett Thompson the other day, and he said he'd be lying if he said it was easy. Just how do you kind of go about going through the ups and downs?
Yeah, no, it's not easy for sure. I think that my dad played professional baseball for a long time, and I'd always call him, and he always taught me when I was super young to not dwell on the negatives, and that I can just keep working hard. And during the game when you're not doing as well, it hurts, it sucks, but at the end of the day, you just want to be happy for your teammates and the win and all that, and then after the game, just go figure out what you need to do and then just go work on it.
That Mason DeVille home run, was that one of the farthest balls you've seen hit?
that was touch. I didn't even see it land. So I would love to see the numbers on that, but yeah, no, that was.
So would we.
Yeah, so would we.
That was tough. Yeah.
First start in right field for you this year. When was the last time you started a game in the outfield?
I think that might have been my first ever career start in the outfield. So
is that something they've taught you to do since you got here, or specifically this year?
They always say if you're going to hit, we'll try to find you a spot in the lineup, and, Bennett's legit back there, and when I'm not catching, they just tell you, go get some reps in the outfield, and I just did my best. Yeah.
For you and Anson, both catchers, now both outfielders, do you guys kind of bond over this? What are we doing out here?
Yeah, well, during BP, we always, sometimes, today he was in center and I was in right, and we always have fun with it. You know, it's different. So it's always fun diving around and getting better at a position that you know you're not really familiar with. But yeah, him and I definitely have worked to be able to play other positions, and yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Have you repped it first, like going other positions too?
I played first in the fall, I think, a couple of games, but other than that, it's just been, I mean, everywhere. Sometimes we play lightning ball, I can play first, outfield, catcher, but yeah, they just have me working everywhere.
So we're gonna see you at short anytime soon?
No, you will not see me. You will not see me at short, third, pitcher. Yeah.
Chase Meggers, utility man for Oregon baseball. First career home run over the weekend. That's a pretty special moment. He had the game ball, and, well, just happy for Chase. Got a big fly over the weekend on Saturday. Someone who had a big fly that I think grew wings, sprouted wings, and is still soaring over PK Park. That's Mason Neville. We're getting to him and his absolutely clobbered moonshot next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It is Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union, as we're still breaking down the Ducks baseball series sweep over the weekend against Seattle in their Pac-12 bye week. So Pac-12 season started. Oregon actually at the top of the Pac-12 table at 6-3 with some positive results around the rest of the conference, with Oregon State getting swept in a 2-game series against USC because of inclement weather down in Los Angeles. It actually cut out the final game of Oregon's softball series, cut out the final game of that baseball series, which, well, one result that I'm sure that Coach Lombardi's team wanted to play ball on Saturday. We'll talk with Coach Lombardi on the show tomorrow. But for Oregon baseball, the rain down in L.A. helped out because it means that Oregon at this point is at the top of the conference, as well as the Ducks moving forward, gaining momentum, going towards their road series down in Los Angeles next weekend, where the Ducks will play UCLA in their next Pac-12 series. But there's also a game tomorrow on the road in Portland, as the Ducks have some, well, unfinished business against the Pilots. Joey Mack will go on the road for both that midweek against Portland and that weekend series against UCLA. But we're still breaking down the weekend series this weekend against Seattle, where Mason Neville hit 2 home runs. He has 5 home runs on the year. He had nine runs batted in this series. Just 3 hits for him. He was up in opportune spots, and he drove in a ton of runs when he had the opportunity to. Really strong series for Mason Neville. And, well, I've mentioned the ball that he hit a few times. 483. That's the projected distance in terms of feet. And 111 miles per hour off the bat as the exit velocity. Those are the stats. We didn't quite have those for the media before postgame, but those are the stats, and we have them now. And this is Mason Neville breaking down what was a strong series win for Oregon and a big blast for him. Mason Neville.
Your home run, is that the farthest ball you've ever hit?
I don't know the numbers on it, but I think I got it pretty well. It was a jet stream out there, though, so I'll give credit to the winds.
Are you sitting on something, or?
Earlier in the at-bat, just tried to bunt and move the guy over, and I wasn't able to do that. Saw some sliders pretty well, left them down, and then I got into a hitter's count, and I got the opportunity to hit again, and so I just kind of felt free and got my pitch, and that's pretty much what happened. So,
well, I'd call that a great at-bat. Obviously, it ends in a home run, so
yeah,
it's pretty damn good. But do you feel like that was like an at-bat you can look back on and be like, I did basically everything right there?
Yeah, I think I did. I think I did well. I think my technique on the bunt kind of was rushed. I feel like I need to get that down for my team, especially in that spot. But messing that up and kind of not letting it get to me and kind of just flushing it and working the count and then getting into a hitter's count, 3-1 count, and then just being able to trust my hands and be on time. I think, yeah, looking back on that at bat, it was pretty special. So,
did well the last couple of games. Just how do you feel like you're doing now? You're like a quarter of the way through the season. You're obviously with Oregon for the first year. How do you feel like you're doing?
I feel like I'm getting better. I think there's room for improvement for sure. But yeah, I'm starting to find my rhythm and kind of get in a groove a little bit. So, but can't get complacent. I feel like there's always room for improvement. So.
Out there in left, how's that treating you?
It's different. I mean, I've played the outfield for a while now, but just different angles off the bat. So I feel like I should have made a couple plays out there this past weekend that I didn't. So I'll be working out there more in practice and stuff like that. So
Justin could tell he said that left field was really kind of difficult. It's
kind
of looked at as like, oh, you put maybe your worst defender out there in left.
Yeah.
But what are some of the problems with, or not problems, what are some of the difficulties that you have in left there?
Just kind of, I play center or right kind of growing up, and so normally right field, the ball flares a little more. Center field, it's more backspin or topspin, I guess you can say, and so just being able to read that and have little room to kind of make an error on your read or your jump is a little difficult, but I think Waz is a phenomenal outfield coach, so I think we'll figure it out for sure.
I have to ask you a silly question. This necklace that you have.
This one?
The black one. Yeah. Michael Friend had that on Friday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
What's the story?
We actually, there's a guy, I can't remember the name, shout out to him, but we all, our whole team has some, so we all, I don't know, just customized, I guess, so.
You guys all rep them?
Yeah, well, here and there. We wore them, I can't remember, a couple weeks ago, but I think we lost that game or something like that, so some guys will wear them now, some won't or whatever, but yeah, they're pretty cool.
That is Mason Neville after his big-time home run on Saturday. Pretty big-time series for him and the rest of Oregon baseball as the Ducks carrying some non-conference momentum in the midst of Pac-12 play. Closed up an 11-game homestand with that win on Saturday against the Redhawks of Seattle. Now going on the road on Tuesday to play the Portland Pilots. That game going to be at 5 o'clock. Joey will have pregame at 4:45 up north in Portland as the Ducks dropped a midweek series to kick off that 11-game homestand against the Pilots and now are going on the road to kick off what is going to be a 4-game road stand starting against Portland. So the Ducks trying for a little bit of, well, unfinished business, you could say, going up against Portland. Ducks on the softball diamond, they had won all their Pac-12 series going into this weekend, going up against a really strong UCLA team that was top 15 in the country. It was a top 25 matchup, and these two teams played really evenly, I thought, throughout the entire series. But only a 2-game set due to some inclement weather closing out what would have been a Saturday game, rained that game out. So didn't get to play on Saturday on the softball diamond, but did get to play on Thursday and Friday. Ducks dropped both of those games. On Thursday, it was a 5-3 final score with UCLA taking the win. The Ducks actually jumped out to a 1-0 lead early, but UCLA answered back with a 3-spot in the third. Then the Ducks tied it up in the top of the 6th inning. Right afterwards, it was UCLA with 1 out and a 0-2 count that was able to put a ball into the outfield and drive in 2 more. And that ultimately was the 5-3 final score in that game. So the big innings is what cost Oregon in game number 1, where it was that 3-run inning in the 3rd and that 2-run inning in the 6th. Same thing happened on Friday for Oregon, in which a game that had a ton of traffic on the base paths. Both teams stranded double-digit runners on the base paths in this ball game. So a game that featured a whole bunch of offense despite it being just a 6-3 final. Both teams pitching really limited the opportunities to strand those runners in scoring position, but a 2-out grand slam in the 4th inning was the difference for UCLA. They came through in that opportune moment when it counted, and the Ducks, they just couldn't dig themselves out of the hole. They had a lot of offense in the 7th, had 5 consecutive 2-out base runners in the 7th inning, but ultimately with the bases loaded, couldn't continue to produce throughout that inning, and the run would stop at 5 consecutive base runners reaching for Oregon softball. Ended up dropping that game 6-3, where the difference was the grand slam in the 4th. So I thought Oregon in both Thursday and Friday's game against UCLA played really, really competitive. Ended up not getting the win in either one of those and dropped their first Pac-12 series in a weird series that only 2 games were played. So a little bit of a wonky schedule this weekend with the Easter holiday on Sunday. No games were scheduled for Sunday, and then with some rain down in Los Angeles, Ducks end up not playing on Saturday. So that was what happened over the weekend for Oregon softball. How about Oregon track and field and Maddie Elmore, who ran a 15:15 in the 5K on Friday at the Stanford Invitational? Here's her post-race.
Finishing with a smile on her face, Maddie Elmore, 15:79. She closed.
I knew that was in there. I have been saying that forever.
That felt so good.
Looked amazing.
School record.
Not a lot. That was 1985. Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
Maddie, great job. Great job. Yeah.
Huge for Maddie Elmore. Ended up breaking a 39-year-old school record of 15:23 set by Kathy Hayes, a UO Hall of Famer. 39-year school record, the number 9 time in collegiate history. It's Maddie Elmore's 3rd school record, as she broke the 3K school record on the indoor track earlier this year and was the anchor to the school record DMR team for Oregon. That was at the Stanford Invitational. Annika Thompson also had a really good performance for her at the Stanford Invitational in the 10K. She crossed the finish line in 32:54, dropped her PR by over a minute in that event, also set the Irish U23 national record. And on the men's side of thing, Elliot Cook and Matthew Erickson both had a sub 148 800 meter and finished 2nd and 3rd place in section 1 of the 800 at the Stanford Invitational. Pretty good all-around showing for the Ducks on the outdoor track now, with a school record, a national record, and some other strong performances. So much more happened in Oregon athletics over the weekend. Breaking it all down with a 2-minute drill, sponsored by Cafe Yum, coming up next on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It's now time for the Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, breaking down what else happened in Oregon athletics this weekend. Starting at Pape Field, Oregon went up against UC Davis, and Coach Jess Drummond has gotten her first Pac-12 conference win. 10 goals in the first period for Oregon en route to a 17-7 victory over UC Davis. On the men's golf side of things, they were in action at the Goodwin. Played their 6th round in 6 days at the Goodwin. Were led in round 3 by 68s from Nate Stember and Grayson Leach, and a consistent 1-over showing in each of the 3 rounds from Greg Solhag led Oregon to a 10th place finish in that tournament at the Goodwin. Then also in the women's side of things, at the Ping ASU Invitational, it was Minori Nagano who had her best finish of the year, finished 4th in the field and 5 under for the event. Shot 69 in round 1, 71 in round 2, and round 3, under par in all 3 rounds, and was a top 5 finisher in a very competitive Ping Invitational. The Ducks ended up finishing 11th in the tournament without Kiara Romero as she prepares for the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Ashley Park will join her there coming up in just a few days. That's it for Oregon this weekend. So much happened. Go Ducks. See you tomorrow.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from